Hello everyone. We'd like to welcome you to Radio Kushi and Asha show. And it's such a beautiful day here. And we're just having a wonderful time spending the afternoon together. And we've invited our dear friend Jack Glazema to come and speak and to share some of his story today. Hello, Jack.
Hi there, Becky.
Hi, welcome to our show.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Yes, and we know that you've got an accent. And would you like to tell us something about where you're from?
I am from Holland,
Mm-hmm.
and that accent, yes, that came with me when I immigrated to Canada. So, yes, sometimes they want to buy it off of me, but it's not for sale.
Not for
No,
sale.
I don't want to sell it. No. So, yes, that's my story.
Great.
Mhm.
And what was life like for you when you were born in Holland?
Well, I was born in 1938, which was 2 years before the Second World War started. And so I don't remember from these first years, but I do remember when I was about 3, then that the Germans had occupied Holland, and they would just be told, the Dutch citizens would be told to take in those 2 soldiers in your family and you feed them, so we don't have to feed them. And they would sleep in tents. So they would not sleep at your place, but they would eat at your place. So I remember them in our home, yes.
Wow. Were you afraid?
No, because they were not shooting at us. They were actually very kind, these soldiers. They were young boys, and they were sent. They did not want to go to war neither, I'm sure, but they were sent by their officers.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Yes, that's a whole different experience
Mhm.
going through a time of war, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. And what brought you to Canada?
Brought me to Canada was because there is a shortage of housing in Holland, because this was after we were in the war. Then nothing gets built. They only start to bomb places, but they don't build places. So then we had a place we found in Amsterdam that we could live there, but the home belonged to a lady who was 80 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So my wife and her and I, we had to take turns to go to the washroom. There's one washroom in the
Wow.
place. There was only one kitchen. So my wife and the lady would have to take turns
Wow.
to do the food.
Mm.
And so that's not very nice for
No.
a person to take turns. So anyway, we said, let's for adventure, maybe go to another country. So then we had visitors come from Canada. That was my wife's brother with his wife. And they said, oh, you guys are going to move. We said, yeah, we want to just have a little adventure. And so I had tried to find a job in Germany or the UK, England or France, it didn't matter. But we just started to look for a job, and then as they came, they said, well, why don't you come to Canada?
Mm.
So we said, yeah, we could go for a couple of years to Canada, sure. So this was in 1963, in September.
Mm.
And in 1964, in May, we arrived in Vancouver, half a year later.
1963. And did you come with your wife and your children?
One boy was born in Amsterdam. Yes, he was a year and a half.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember you mentioning that you went through a difficult time in your family and with your wife and her health. Would you like to share about that?
Yeah, I could.
Mhm.
We lived in Abbotsford, and in 1980, 1979 actually, my wife would be quite often tired,
Mm-hmm.
and so we checked into it, and they said, "Oh, you have a little bit of a nervous stomach."
Mm.
But she said, well, if they tell me that, I don't want to go to the doctor again. I said, well, we got to go to the doctor again. I'll go with you. So anyway, then they took more thorough tests, and they discovered that it was pancreas cancer she had.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a very hard thing to go through.
Yeah, they discovered it in a few months later. This was in February 1980. They took an exploratory operation, and they said there's nothing we can do. It was the pancreas.
Wow.
It was covered with cancer.
Wow.
So then we buried her in April, a few months later.
Oh my goodness. So quick for the cancer to go through her body, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so how many children did you have at that point?
At that point, we had 3 kids.
Oh.
Yeah. We had, John was born in Amsterdam, and the 2 girls were born in Abbotsford.
Oh.
And the one was, John, the oldest one, was 16. The oldest girl was 14, and the youngest one was 10.
Wow. That must have been very difficult. Yes.
Yeah, it was very dramatic.
Oh.
Yeah.
How on earth did you cope?
I coped by God's grace because we had our own business at the time with my brothers-in-law, and I had not been much involved with bringing up the children. My wife did that pretty well. At that time, most of the time, the women would stay home,
Yes.
did not have a job, but they would stay at home and be there for the children. So that's what she did, and I worked 10 hours a day pretty well because we had our own business, so we had to kind of work
Wow.
long hours.
Yeah.
So then, of course, when she passed away, I did have not much experience
Wow.
with bringing up children.
What a reverse of role,
Yeah.
you know, having to be a mother and a father, not just a father.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet you're on a huge learning curve.
Yes, you do the best you can, and yeah, the rest is up to the Lord.
Yes. Yes.
You totally are dependent upon His grace that He pulls you through, and He did pull me through. Yeah, but for the 10-year-old, it was the worst because she didn't remember much of her mom.
Oh.
So yeah, it and that affected her later on too in her life.
Yes.
Of course, yeah. But all of them, they were affected by it. But anyway, I did not remarry because my kids are quite strong-willed, and so I thought, you know, I don't want to be in a position to be between the child and the new partner.
Yes.
So anyway, I did not remarry for quite a while.
Yes. Yeah. That was a pretty selfless decision to make too.
Survival.
Yeah. Survival.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Do you feel that was the right decision looking back?
I think so.
Yeah. That's so good.
Yeah.
You mentioned about your faith. What role has faith played in your life?
Well, when you get in a difficult position like that and the Lord helps you through those times, then you start to trust Him because of what He did for you.
Yes.
I did not go wacky. I stayed still a normal person. And that was all grace that He helped me through that difficult time. So then we sold our business shortly after my wife passed away. That was in 1983, and we had a fairly large business, and we went, and I stayed on part-time for the new owners, and so it gave me freedom to go on mission trips.
Oh, great.
It's because what it did at the time, when you do lean on the Lord pretty heavy, and you get the grace, you also get into a more solid relationship with him.
Yes.
So then I had a desire, and he put that desire there to go and bring the gospel and Christianity to people in other countries, which we did, Mexico and Venezuela and Ukraine, etc. These areas. So
That is really wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I went on a course for 3 months in Hawaii, took my Youth with a Mission course, and so I lived there, and then I had a couple stay in my home with my youngest daughter, so which was also good, and it brought me closer to him. And it was actually in that time that there was a lady which I felt, and she felt that the Lord had made her available for me, and so we married in 93. Yeah, October 93. But she had a daughter, and so that was the only girl we had with her. The little girl was at that time only about 6-7 years old. And of course, when she started to grow up, then there were the 3 of us, and one way or another, it became a bit more difficult to get along between my partner and I. So we decided after 15 years of marriage, we should go each our own way.
Yes.
So that's what we did, and that is now 12 years ago, I think. 13.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not an easy thing to go through, going through a breakup.
No, it's
No.
not. No, it's different again than when
Yes.
you are being widowed.
Very different.
Yeah.
Yes. So you had to trust in God for strength to bring you through the divorce as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he has, because I've always had excellent health. I've never been in a hospital yet for an operation. So,
Wow.
so
Amazing.
that's all grace.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Well, Jack, we want to thank you very much for coming on our show today. And we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Well, thank you, and you too.
Thank you.
Yes.
And for the rest of us, we hope that we all have a wonderful day too, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.